understand that not everybody wants to have the responsibility of co-creating their society, but at least I want to give them, if I can, the tools to be responsible civilians. And people have to understand that democracy is work. You cannot transfer power. We should have learned that through all our history, that if you transfer responsibility and power to somebody else, you have no power. And then you can't demand anything if you give away this power. And so our democracies, which we pride ourselves so much on, and like the United States democracies, and particularly we pride ourselves on the European democracies, I have realized that they are not democracies anymore. Democracy means the rule of the mob, the rule of the people. Now, how many people actually represents the people in the parliaments in Europe? But in general, we have to learn both to live with the fact that democracy is work, and democracy is also attempts to build consensus, because it should not always just be the power of majority that works. So every individual has to actually claim their power and responsibilities, or we will end up in the same mess as, you know, prior to 2007, 2008, or the Second World War. And now I have understood another very important thing about protest and people coming out, and that is they only come out if it's hurting them. Now, when are we going to start to understand that when our neighbor's house is burning, the fire is going to come into our house if we don't help stop the fire? And I think that it's just, this is the harsh reality. I just strongly encourage people, if they feel that there is something wrong in their society, they can change it. They just need to find like-minded people. They're everywhere. They need to talk about it, and they need to apply, you know, an hour every day. It takes time to work on democracy. People have to understand this. Or maybe we just all want dictatorship with technocrats. You know, some people seem to think that is a solution. We had exactly the same problems in Iceland, and exactly the same thing. People say, oh, you know, they can do it, they can change things in this country, but we are different because we're so few. You know, you hear every excuse in the book. So it has nothing to do with size, it has nothing to do with you know, traditions and culture. We never protest in Iceland. It is not in our culture. That's what I heard. So that's just a lazy excuse to do nothing and to believe in the status quo. Now, if you believe as an individual that you have a meaning, you can change the world. If you know where you're going, you can change the world. It's as simple as that. But if you think that somebody else is going to change the world for you, then nothing's going to happen. Then we are actually going to finish this planet and leave nothing for our children. And are we going to be responsible for that? People have to ask themselves about it. And now I have understood another very important thing about protest.